Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a village or a town or a space with several different buildings overlapping using one-point linear perspective and with objects that are at bird's eye view, worm's eye view, and eye level. So based on this practice alone, 3-3-3, where you're practicing 3 objects at worm's eye view above the horizon line, 3 objects at eye level, 3 objects at bird's eye view. If you combine these different vantage points and you create a rough draft, okay, using those different vantage points as inspiration, you can come up with a bunch of different types of towns or places that you would want to visit. It can be made up, it could be real. I have floating buildings up there for what? No idea, no reason, it's fun. I have buildings that start in my bottom corner, then they go above the horizon line, they go down to the vanishing point. So this building alone, these 2 alone, are, you know, below at bird's eye view, they're at eye level, they go above, you know, at worm's eye view. So all these different vantage points that are happening. This building right here is at bird's eye view only, and so are these right here. These 2 buildings are at eye level along with these, but there's also parts of them that are, you know, at worm's eye view, the top part. So they would be called that they're at eye level, you know, but they go above the horizon line and they're on the horizon line, so it's eye level. And then right here we have strictly just worm's eye view. So notice my objects are also overlapping. I have objects overlapping, I have objects that are by themselves. So overlapping meaning one in front of the other. I have cutouts and doors and windows. You don't have to cut them out completely like this. I made it look like you can go inside by adding a horizontal line, okay? But I've also added little diagonal lines to make it look like glass, okay? So just show that you know how to do little doors and windows on your spaces. And then once the rough draft is done, you don't have to color the rough draft. The final draft consists of like incorporating a landscape and surrounding space, and you've got overlapping objects. You know, just have fun playing with color. You want to add some implied texture on here too. So my implied texture is here with the sidewalk. I did some stippling. I did tiny little like granulated little marks right here for the asphalt, right, for the road. I didn't go and put the yellow lines right here in the middle of the road. I just felt like that would have been kind of distracting and kind of pointless. And then I have outlined with black colored pencil. It's better when you're doing linear perspective to outline with black colored pencil as opposed to a pen, because you do need to use your ruler on your buildings when you're outlining, and it's just that tendency to smear on accident when you're outlining with a black pen as opposed to a colored pencil is a lot higher, okay? You don't smear with colored pencil, and it's just, you want to keep sharpening it to make it really nice, okay? And then there was a decision behind making the grass part of it black. So just make sure you're outlining, make sure you are shading with color and you're blending colored pencil and you have implied textures, okay? And then I have incorporated atmospheric perspective as well with my clouds, large, medium, small, my mountains, large, medium, small, my grassy hills, large, medium, small towards the focal point, my trees, okay, large and small going back. Also the bushes right here, I have bigger ones in the foreground, right? And I have smaller, tinier grass going back. That's all intentional, okay? But what I want to show you in this video is how to do this. How do I go over all these buildings and show you how to play around with space and how to incorporate them so it looks like you have overlapping space, okay? So like always, the first thing you want to do, okay, is take your ruler, and you want to always make sure no matter what you're doing that your end of your ruler is lined up to the edge of your paper, okay? So I have my horizon line, and now I'm going to have my vanishing point. And then the first thing I always typically do is I incorporate a building on the bottom left. So once again, my ruler's lined up to the edge of my paper. I'm going to go above the horizon line here, okay, and go all the way down. So I'm going to use all 3 vantage points, bird's eye view, worm's eye view, and eye level, okay? I'm using my ruler. Now I'm getting rid of the horizon line I don't need because I don't want it interrupting my space of my building. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pencil on my vanishing point, put my ruler up against the pencil and the vanishing point, and very lightly draw this line, very lightly. Okay, the bottom goes back and the top goes back. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this vertical line. I'm going to decide right now how big or small do I want this building to be. I think I want it to be this big. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a vertical line. I'm going to get rid of this excess line right here, this excess receding space that I don't need. And then I'm going to get rid of this right here, this horizon line that's on my building. I like to clean as I go, okay, because I don't want to kind of be confused by what I did. So now what I'm going to do, vertical, okay, lines to create windows. I've got my ruler lined up to the edge of my paper. I'm just going to make little lines. I'm going to make these bigger than I normally would so that they're visible, and also for sake of demo time. Plus right here, I've got my horizon line, right? If I start a window right here and I stop it that close to the vanishing point and I end it this close, it's not going to be big enough. So it's not going to have enough depth. So if I make it bigger, I can show more depth that way. So I move my paper to make it more convenient for me. So the top goes back to the vanishing point. I'm not going to go all the way out though, okay? Because I want it to stay within the building. So the bottoms and the tops all go back, right? And keep in mind with the 3-3-3 practice, it's really nice because it helps you become familiar with what you're doing. Also, the rough draft really helps you become familiar with what you're doing. And then notice I did change my rough draft and final draft, okay? So that's okay too if you want to change your initial part of the rough draft, like make it unique for you. If you start doing your rough draft and you're like, this is not what I want to do, then that's kind of the whole point of having a rough draft. It's problem solving skills. It's nice. So here's this. Now I have windows. And then I'm going to maybe do like from some frontal space right here, because this is the front of the building, not the side of it. So I'm going to do a vertical line and a horizontal line. And then I'm going to do another one. So that's my like door. And right now I'm going to create a window that's going off of the paper, because we're technically not really seeing this entire building really, because it's going off the paper. I'm going to make sure it doesn't stop where one of these stops, because if it stopped right here, it just makes it less interesting. It's nice to have variation in your artwork. Okay. So now I have a building that I think is interesting. It's nice and big, but how do I overlap, right? So you could put something above it. Look, maybe there's like a little patio area back here. Maybe there's a little apartment upstairs or a pool house or something. So let's go in and play. Once you know the methods of atmospheric perspective and linear perspective, and you're learning, you know how to create depth in all these different ways, now you can just kind of keep going and you want to play. Just have fun with it. See what you can make. So I just created another space above this building. I have no idea what it's for. It's just fun and funny. It's just nice to create space. You could also create a billboard up here if you want to do that. And I can show you that in a different video. But for right now, as far as overlapping goes, I'm going to do a small building behind this one. So I'm keeping this line here, this receding line, because I'm going to just turn it into a sidewalk. So I'm going to go right here on my vanishing point, and I'm going to make a sidewalk right here. I'm going to go like this and see how wide that is. That is 1 1/4 inches. So then I'm going to decide how big do I want my sidewalk to be, or my road. Let's go right here. Then I'm going to measure 1 1/4 inches. Boop. And then that way my sidewalk on both sides is the same width. Okay. So now I have that done. I'm going to go and I'm going to decide how far apart do I want these places to be. So I'm going to go right here I'm going to start with a vertical line, okay? And then I'm going to do a horizontal line, okay? And then I'm going to take this corner back, right? And then I'm going to take this back, horizontal, okay? And I'm going to decide how big I want this to be. I think I'll go right here. And then I'm going to get rid of this I don't need. And then I'm going to close up my space. But you decide, do you want it to go all the way over there, like as if it's going behind the building? Or I could have cut it off, I could have done a line right here. But I want to make it look like it's going behind the building. I'm going to darken this up actually really quickly. There we go. Okay, so that's it. I just started with a vertical line, a horizontal line, so an upside down backwards L, another horizontal line. I took my corner back to the vanishing point, vertical and then horizontal. Okay, so that's one side. Let's say I want to do some stuff just kind of randomly in the middle, some stuff that's below the horizon line. So I'm going to do let's start with a square, okay? And then I'll have to trim this right here. Okay, so I have my square, because this is like pretty much the practice from the 3-3-3. Then I take, this is already going back. I don't take this one back, so now I just have to do the top two, right? Okay, so now what should I do? Vertical. And horizontal. Remember, when you're doing this work, okay, the only lines you use are vertical, up and down, horizontal, or receding, which go back to the vanishing point, okay? And that's it. So if you're ever stuck and you have no idea what to do, you just remember like that you only use those 3 lines, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and make another building. Just some random fun, maybe I'll do like a really skinny one. Make sure you're using your ruler as much as possible because it does matter for accuracy. Like as tempting as it is to not use it, right? Okay, it's just crucial to use it because otherwise your drawings can end up looking kind of like sloppy and not planned and stuff like that. So you want to be really careful. It looks like it's rushed if it's not, you know, if you're not using a ruler. Okay, so I can make a decision to have this building start and stop right here if I want to. And then that way it's kind of next to the small one that I made. And that works, right? Okay, and then what do we want to turn this into? Maybe they're around the corner from each other, stuff like that. If I want to build another one, maybe I can go back like this and play. See, I'm just playing. I'm not planning, everybody. So now I'm going to take that corner. I'm going to do a tall, gigantic one. And then I'm going to go vertical right here and have this come from here. So I taught myself a lot of this stuff by playing with it because I think it's really cool. You know, it's somewhat of an optical illusion, right? I just think it's really neat and students love it, kids love it. So then I'm going to go right here. Okay, so now I just created another building right here. Okay, and then there's 1, 2, and 3, and then you want to color them differently, of course. You want to go in and like kind of play with the doors and the windows. Just make it more interesting, make it unique. If you want to add an awning, you know, like maybe you need to add an awning on here. I have an awning right here on this one. Just little details makes it fun, right? You go like this, where you go in a corner and you kind of make like a little curvy line, and then you take this and you go back to the vanishing point you overlap this side of the building, and you go like this, and then you mimic that, right? So then now I've got an awning to make it shady. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do this too right here, vertical. This goes back, vertical. Okay, so if I want to go ahead and add an object above, it could be like directly above the vanishing point. So now that I have an object that's like primarily in worm's eye view and not both or all three vantage points. So then my corners go back, right? Maybe I'll make this one big. Maybe this isn't a floating apartment building. Maybe it's like the year 2080 or something. There's floating apartment buildings. Okay. So then you can add to that, add details. In my next video, I'm going to go over more details. So like benches and chairs and stairs and things like that. Okay. Thank you.